All right guys, what's up? My name is Blake. Today we're gonna be shooting a cinematic sequence with the Osmo Pocket 1. Obviously there's a better version of this camera out right now, but I just thought it'd be a cool little video to shoot with the Osmo Pocket 1 since number one, I don't have the newest one. I just got the old one, and it still shoots 4K, still shoots 4K 60 frames per second, and also shoots 4K 24 frames per second. So this is still a usable camera if you have this today, or if you want to get it off of Facebook or eBay or something like that. Solid camera, and I'm gonna prove it to you with the cinematic sequence. You probably already saw it with the intro, but yeah, so we're just gonna shoot a quick little cinematic sequence with the drum set here. I got this cool little drum room that my wife set up for me. We've been shooting like a little TikTok videos. I'm gonna start shooting some drum covers and stuff like that. But all that aside, we're gonna shoot a quick little sequence with the good old Osmo Pocket, and I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through kind of like a behind the scenes type of thing. You'll see all my little camera movements, and I'll put them side by side and all that stuff, and you guys can see kind of what the thought process is and all that stuff. So yeah, here we go. Okay guys, so before we actually go ahead and start shooting, I'm gonna try to like walk you through, I don't know, basically my plan for like shooting this little cinematic sequence and all that. So obviously we got this cool little drum room with the lights and the drum set and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna basically shoot it. So anytime you're shooting like a cinematic sequence, obviously you wanna tell like a bit of a story. Storytelling is always king, no matter what video you're doing. What would, coming in, looking at this drum set, like how would that look in real life? And if you were here and you were actually like doing a walkthrough of say like the house, how would you see this? Or how would it be presented to you? So that's kind of like my thought process behind it is, you know, you'd come in, you'd walk in the room, and then you'd see certain parts of the drum kit first, and then you'd obviously sit down at it and you'd tinker around with it and all that stuff. So yeah, so basically like, here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the sliding glass door kind of entering into the room here with the drum set there and all the lights and everything. So basically the thought process is, if you were to walk into this room, what are the first things you're gonna notice, and what are some of the things that's gonna highlight about the drum kit or the room in your brain, and some of the things that you could showcase basically. So basically the first shot I think I'm gonna be doing is kind of like an entering into the room shot, where with the, obviously it'll be with a pocket, but entering into the room where you see the kit, you also see these lights. So I'm gonna probably showcase that in some fashion. And then coming over to the kit, you kind of notice, immediately you notice the big cymbals, the nice shiny looking cymbals. You notice the kick drum, you notice where the drumsticks are, some of the setup back here, and then getting behind it is the next step probably, where you look at all the pieces, you play around with it, and you actually have some slow motion shots of hitting a cymbal, hitting the drum, and all that type of stuff. So that, I think, it's pretty simple, but I think that's the general workflow thought process behind what I'm gonna be shooting for this little cinematic sequence. So, and I think that's a good rule of thumb. Anytime you're shooting anything, try to think of it from the viewer's perspective. Okay, what makes sense? Don't just like start with a picture or a video or a clip of just the kick drum, and then a shot of the drumsticks, and then a shot of you walking into the room. Like, just make sure it makes sense, so that when somebody's watching it, they're not like, okay, that's kind of weird. But so I'm gonna start shooting these little clips now, try to make them as cinematic as I possibly can, and yeah, so hang in for the ride. Yes, it is. Okay, so you guys probably can't see that, but basically I got the camera set to 4K 60. I set it to 4,300 Kelvin because the room is really warm and these lights are already pretty warm. And then I got decent light for color. Like I said, 4,300 Kelvin for the white balance. And then manual exposure, I just set to 1/120 shutter, and then 1600 ISO. And I locked that in. Oh gosh, it was locked in. 1600 ISO. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna film us walking in through the door, like a push-in shot to the door. I'm gonna get a shot showcasing these lights, because to me, when I walk in the room, other than the kit, that's what I would notice. I'd notice, oh man, look at the lights, the drum kit. So I'm gonna get kind of a up close shot of one of these lights, and then just kind of come around like that. Get you over here. We get a couple of shots of different shots of the kit. So if I'm walking up on the drum set, what's the first thing I notice? It's probably gonna be either that big ride cymbal or the kick drum right there. So that's probably gonna be the things that I showcase first. Parallax of the kick drum, Try to be as smooth as I can here. And I will say one thing about this Osmo Pocket, this little screen. Obviously, this is the old version, so the newest one has like a little bit bigger of a screen. But that's one thing that the aspect ratio is never right. So I always try to center my subject on it because it's such a small screen. But you can't see the edges of your frame because it's shooting a 16 by 9. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the ride symbol. This ride symbol here. Crash symbol. Little parallax. Video around as if you were to be coming around and sitting down. I'm gonna get a couple more like little parallaxy shots of each symbol, each drum. Just try to get a different angle. That way I have the most to work with in post. So I'm gonna do the same thing, just sitting down, get a couple of shots, and pick them up real slow. All right, now I'm gonna try to get a shot basically from the kit, kind of viewing the whole kit, pull out shot coming out of the room. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna open the door, that way I don't bash myself. I'm trying my best to walk as steady as I can. So anytime you're shooting a cinematic sequence of any kind, make sure you have some sort of picture, some sort of story, whatever you wanna call it, in your mind. Have a vision of what you want it to look like. That's gonna make it a little bit easier for when you're actually recording. And other than that, say you just have no idea, you're filming something, you have no idea. Just use common sense, and people call it storytelling, but use common sense and think, okay, if I was doing this activity, or if I was gonna walk in and look at these drums or play them, or if I was going to come into a guitar shop and go pick out a guitar, what's the sequence of events that's gonna happen? You're gonna walk into the room, you're gonna see other guitars on the wall, you're gonna look at them, you're gonna pick out your favorite one, you're gonna grab it off the wall, you're gonna play it a little bit, then you're gonna put it back, or maybe you'll go check it out, maybe go buy it, whatever. So what's the actual sequence of events for whatever you're filming that you're trying to make look cinematic, real dramatic? And just film those things in that order, put those things together in that order. The only other thing that is kind of tricky other than that is just trying to make sure that you're showcasing that thing in the best lighting and the best motion, the best angles. So that's why you shoot multiple angles, parallax shots, pull-ins, push-outs, all that type of stuff. Push-ins, pull-outs, whatever you want to call it. Just get more options. Get the most options you can while you're recording. That way you don't kick yourself in the butt later down the road. Other than that, that's basically it. Osmo Pocket 1. And if you have the newest one, obviously it's going to look better than this does. But this thing still shoots 4K 24, 4K 60. Got a whole bunch of different features, really cool time-lapse modes that are motion time-lapse, and face tracking and motion tracking, all that cool stuff. This thing still has a lot of really good features. In 2024, I think this thing is still really cool. So, but anyway, guys, that's today's video. Cinematic sequence with the Osmo Pocket 1. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this content, please like, share, subscribe the video, all the stuff you guys do. I really, really appreciate it. Try to get us up to 1,000. We're at 752 right now. Just a few more people, and we're at 1,000. So yeah, if you guys have any video ideas, camera related, tech stuff, whatever, just put them in the comment box below. I'll be sure to look at them. I'll comment back to you guys and all that stuff. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you.